I'm getting the hook. Can I ask one last quick one? Quick one, though.
Sure.
If sworn in, if you win, and you're sworn in, and you've had this question 40 times, but you would be the oldest president in U.S. history. Some people might suggest, the Trump campaign ads have suggested, you've lost a step or two. What's your response to that?
Look at how he steps and look how I step. Watch how I run up ramps and he stumbles down ramps, okay? Come on. It's a legitimate question to ask. Legitimate question to ask of both of us. Thank God my health is good, but I'm a great respecter of fate. I realize anything can happen to anybody at any age, any time. But I promise you, I would not be running unless I was in very good health. I work out every morning, and I am in relatively good shape, as my mother would say, knock on wood.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
At some point, Donald Trump might, for once, want to think about whether his next attack on Joe Biden doesn't actually hurt himself more than his opponent. Because so far, everything that Trump has thrown at Biden has the unintended consequence of just making himself look really, really bad. Take, for example, what Joe Biden is responding to here. He was asked about the Trump campaign's barrage of attacks claiming that Biden's, quote, lost a step. And look, I'm no campaign strategist, and I'm sure Donald Trump pays his people lots and lots of money for their advice, but for starters, if you're gonna attack your opponent for losing a step, you might just want to make sure that your own guy doesn't do this. That might be the first thing I think about before I start lobbing attacks at someone who can still manage to walk down a 5% decline.
President, have you picked a running mate yet?
Yeah, I have.
You have? Who is it?
Who is it?
You.
And it's not just Trump's attacks on Biden's physical condition. He's also attacked Biden's mental state, claiming that he's in some advanced stage of cognitive decline. But since Trump began debuting those attacks, Joe Biden has issued clear, concise, powerful statements outlining common sense solutions to the pandemic that Trump has only managed to continue making worse on a daily basis. Statements outlining his plan to restore the economy, which under Trump has been disastrous, with 8.4% unemployment and more than 11 million jobs lost in total. Statements outlining his plan to combat the existential crisis of climate change, to fight for racial justice, to achieve policing reform. One day after the next, Joe Biden has proven that not only is he not in the midst of cognitive decline, but that he has a bold, transformative, progressive agenda that he has every intention of pursuing. Honestly, tell me that this is someone who doesn't know what day of the week it is.
For love is more powerful than hate. Hope is more powerful than fear. And light is more powerful than dark. This is our moment. This is our mission. May history be able to say that the end of this chapter of American darkness began here tonight as love and hope and light join in the battle for the soul of the nation. And this is a battle we will win, and we'll do it together. I promise you. Thank you, and may God bless you, and may God protect our troops. Good night.
The problem with Trump's attacks on Joe Biden's cognitive state is that they kind of forget to take into account Joe Biden's cognitive state. And yet at the same time, consider for a minute what you get when you listen to Donald Trump speak. It'll be some combination of cancer-causing windmills and toilets you need to flush 10 to 15 times and bags of soup being thrown at police and light bulbs that explode and abolishing suburbs and empty cupboards and hurricanes that are wet from the standpoint of water and Antifa super soldiers and injecting disinfectant and dementia tests with very difficult questions that involve remembering a whopping 5 words. And he expects us to believe that someone else is in the midst of cognitive decline? And yet the fact is that Trump needs to issue these attacks, as nonsensical as they may be, because he's not able to run on his record. He's had 4 years in office, and what does he have to show for it? The most coronavirus deaths and cases on the face of the earth, the only president in modern American history who's actually lost jobs during his time in office, an unemployment rate double what it was when he took office, the snapping of a records job streak under Obama. He's still trying to rip healthcare away from Americans because he can't get over the fact that the ACA is called Obamacare. He's done nothing to address the devastating impacts of climate change. He's emboldened racists and bigots and has fomented protests that have led to death and destruction. He's undermined the rule of law on a near daily basis and gotten himself impeached. But hey, in his defense, he's built about 5 new miles of wall, so there's that. And so given that record, of course Trump has to lob baseless attacks at Joe Biden that are ultimately little more than him projecting. And yet if that's what he's going to insist on doing, then he should be prepared for Biden to call out what every single one of us can see. While you're here, please subscribe to my podcast, No Lie with Brian Tyler Cohen, where I take a deeper dive into the week's biggest stories and interview major players in the world of politics, like Kamala Harris, Adam Schiff, Katie Porter, Nancy Pelosi, Cory Booker, Eric Swalwell, and many more. Again, that's No Lie with Brian Tyler Cohen, available anywhere you listen to podcasts.